Hi, and welcome to our new series, Berks Nature and You. My name is Kim Murphy, and I'm president of Berks Nature. And with me is my colleague, Tami Shimp, who is the vice president for communications and development. And Tami, we are so busy right now working on our schedule of events for the spring and summer that we've hardly had time to talk about anything else. But this might be a good time to talk about, what we're doing at Angelica Park and the Nature Place, and the kinds of exciting activities that we have going on there, and why we have this new Nature Center that we're moving to. So I guess field trips is one thing that we're talking about this morning, and many people might not realize that we have the opportunity to host field trips for schools and school groups, pre-K through high school and college, really, at the Nature Place. You've done a number of those field trips. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what people can expect on a Berks Nature field trip to the Nature Place?
Yeah, well, it's fun because it's so new for us.
Yeah.
So we're learning and having some really great experiences. So I see this as definitely a place where we can grow as an organization. It's emotional when you see how some of these kids have never been in nature and are afraid or nervous. So to have those experiences, that just gave me goosebumps right now, we need to do a lot more of this because every child deserves to be in nature. Our location, the future Nature Place and Angelica Park, is ideal for field trips because we have this, where the environmental nerd will come out of me, but we have a bunch of different habitats in that one little neat and tidy spot. So groups of children and teachers can come, and within a few short hours, they can experience a wetland, literally walk over it, over a boardwalk, and feel and touch a wetland. We can experience trails and a riparian area, which, as you know, is the area next to a stream. We can explore upland meadow areas and learn about native plants and pollinators. And then finally, there's a woodland habitat there. There's a big forest right there on the property. So there's not very many places where groups can experience all of that in a safe and short period of time. It's so exciting.
Well, don't forget about getting in the stream too, because one of the fun things I know that we like to do with our summer campers and people who come for field trips is to literally get them in the creek, in the stream, looking at the critters that are there, teaching them about water quality, and many of these kids have never been in a stream before.
No,
so
that's really, an exciting treat. Yeah. In fact, I have to share this story. We hosted a group of Reading School District middle schoolers through a partnering organization, and had about 40 13-ish year olds come to our walk. They had never, well, not all, many of them had never been out in nature like this before. So the leaders were even telling the children, like, don't touch that, don't do this. And I said, it's okay. We want you to touch. We want you to explore and get dirty. So we go on this hour-long walk, and it was just fabulous. And at the end, I encouraged everyone to get into the stream. Well, the one leader said, I'm not crazy about this idea, but we'll see what happens. I said, well, just let some kids try it out. By the end of the session, he was in the stream, socks and shoes off, and everyone that was the highlight of the trip. What a great experience.
Well, I know, we find a lot of times that kids, what they know about nature is only what they've learned in the movies or seen on TV, which a lot of times can be really scary. So going into the woods, or the thought of going into water, is, kind of intimidating for particularly students who are in an urban environment. That's why we always say the best way to share nature with children is to go with them, for sure.
That's right.
But I know at one occasion I remember you telling me that one of the kids asked if they were allowed to come back. And of course, the Nature Place is in a public park. It's a city-owned park. And so it was nice to be able to tell them that, yes, come back with your parents and explore. And yeah, so.
Well, and the, I talked about the habitats that we have at the Nature Place. But along with that comes all the creatures that live in those habitats. So people can come back and look for tadpoles in the wetlands. They can look for turtles and fish in the little pond. I didn't even talk about the pond. That's another habitat area. And there's tons of insects and birds and, all kinds of animals in the whole park.
Well, we have a fox who lives there.
We do.
And a bald eagle that likes to visit the park. And
sure,
I think
tons of deer.
Documented about 80 different bird species in the park as well. So I know a lot of our friends who are great bird lovers really enjoy going there too.
That's right.
So these are the kinds of things that people might expect to happen on a field trip there then
absolutely
visit.
And in April and May, mostly May of 2015, not that long ago, we served over 2,000 kids in that short a period of time.
Yeah.
So when we think about our future and what the Nature Place will be, I see that number quadrupling easily and really giving us the ability to expose thousands of children to nature. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously our organization believes that part of our responsibility is to grow the next generation of environmental stewards or conservationists, and kids don't spend very much time in the outdoors anymore. I think you had a statistic, something like a child is 6 times more likely to play a video game than to ride a bicycle. Whereas I know when I was growing up, we were just on our bike all the time. So
until dark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what kind of impact do you think that that lack of connection with nature is going to have on future generations if we don't provide opportunities like this for generations?
It scares me.
Yeah.
Because for a person to protect, people protect what they love. So if they're not exposed to and have the respect and experience in nature like we had, will they care about the environment that much when they're leading our community? So I really think it's important that children have that connection to nature. I mean, I truly believe that the drippy 12 acres of woods that I spent most of my childhood in is why I'm here today at Berks Nature. I dedicated my life to it, and I expect children to really have those same experiences. Being out in unstructured play is teaching children about taking risks, making judgment, solving their own issues amongst friends,
right?
Without parents, being there all the time.
Yeah, you learn negotiating skills.
Right.
Like if somebody doesn't want to play that game, then you got to figure out how how you're going to resolve that and move on. So you're so right about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And walking over a log across a stream teaches you balance. Teaches you your physical strengths, risk. You're going to fall, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So there's so much that children need. I mean, the statistic we share quite often is in the United States, the average child is spending 1% of their time outdoors with unstructured play. 1%.
Yeah,
That's
well,
scary.
We're aiming to do something about it for sure.
That's right.
And we hope that people will visit us at the Nature Place, especially after our new building is built there. If people want to learn more, you can visit us at www.berksnature.org. All of the lists of events that we were talking about, or if you want to connect with us to do a field trip, we'd be delighted to answer any questions or to host you at Angelica Park. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Berks Nature, please join us at www.berksnature.org.